Hello guys, today I'm gonna be replacing a double switch. This is a double switch. These are simple switches, single switches, and they are in one yoke or one strap. And for that, I'm gonna talk about other devices like the outlet and a regular switch. So I'm gonna make reference to the color of the screws, so when you see the video, you understand what I'm talking about. So let's start with a regular receptacle outlet. Now, this is a double receptacle. It has two outlets, and the white wire, which is the neutral, goes to the silver color screws. These are silver colors, and you have two, one for each side, and the ground is always on the neutral side. Now on the other side, the brass color screws are for the hot wires. It could be a black, a red, a yellow, purple, whatever. And if you notice here, this tab connects these two screws. So if we break this tab right here, then you break the connection between these points. This is just so you know that. So again, white for neutral, silver for neutral, white wire usually or gray, and brass screw for power wires, be black, red, or whatever color. Now let's talk about a regular switch. A switch doesn't have any neutral wires, no whites on the switch. That's why it has two brass connections. So you connect the punch. It's nothing but breaking the connection of a hot wire. So when you turn it off, it's just breaking the connection, and when you turn it back on, you are putting back the connection of one hot wire or hot line. Now let's talk about the combo switch. This switch has 4 screws, and all the screws are hot. Those 2 screws are the power source and the black screws, and the brass screws are for the load. So you connect one load there and the other one there, and it's brass. So this again is black for the power source. And again, this tab is connecting this one and this one. So let me show you here. I have my multimeter, and it's on continuity with sound. So if I connect this and this, I have continuity. If I break this, then I'm not going to have continuity between these two because I cut this tab. And when do you cut this tab here? You cut it when you're going to have 2 different sources of power. One breaker is going to be connected to this screw for a light or for a fan, and another different source of power, another breaker, is going to be connected to this one. If you don't break this tab here and you connect the 2 sources there, it's going to be a short between the 2 lines. So you don't want that. So now, that said, let's go back to the video. This is the switch we're going to replace. It's a double switch. This side it's broken, and the other one is working okay, but we have to replace both. One controls a fan and the other one controls the light. When it comes to electricity, always cut the power to the breaker, so when you work, everything is going to be safe. You're not going to get electrocuted, so it's better to kill the power. And now we're going to remove the wall plate, 2 screws, 2 flat screws. That's one. And that's 2. with a screwdriver, just poke it and then it'll come. Oh. Then this is the switch and it's held by 2 screws. So we're going to remove these Phillips screws. Okay, now we're going to pull the switch out. Now we're going to remove the black tape, the electrical tape on the switch to see what's going on here. Now that I have the switch out, we're going to determine which wires are the hot wires. And for that, I'm going to turn the power back on. Power back on. And now with the no contact tool, this is one of the best tools I have. It tells you which wire has the power. So all you have to do is touch it, and when it beeps like that, that means that wire has power. So since there is a switch and it's broken on the on position, it's almost all wires have power because it's allowing the bad switch was stuck in the on position, so it's allowing power to go through all the wires. So now I'm gonna cut the power off again, I'm gonna disconnect them, and then we're gonna test them separately. Power back off. And we're going to remove each wire. Power back on to test. Okay, so I separated all the wires and we're going to test again. And that has power. And that has power. And these do not. That means that the power comes from these two, and this goes to the light, and this goes to the fan. So now, since these two wires come from the same place, from the same pigtail, it is redundant so we don't need 2 hot wires. So because it's redundant, we're gonna cap one, and then we're just gonna use one. So we're going to cap this one, and then we're going to put it inside the box. And then we have 1 hot and 2 loads. So now we're going to turn the power off and keep working on it. So the new combo switch, these the darker screws, that means that the power goes there. And see, we have 1 and 2, but these are interconnected. Both of them are the same. If you had a different power source for each switch, for each light or fan, you would cut these, and then it'll be separate power sources for separate loads. But since in this case it is the same power source, we don't need to break this tab. We're gonna just put a hot wire here, and that'll be sufficient. Again, if you had 2 different sources of power, then you cut the center and it'll work independently, one from the other. 2 different breakers, 2 different sources. So this is our hot side. So since we have 3 wires, we only need 1 screw. I'm gonna drive in the ground and one of the extra hot ones. And then I'm gonna connect the power source to the black screw. And remember, you have to put it in a clockwise position, so when we tighten this, it doesn't go anywhere. And now we're gonna do our loads. So one light is gonna go on the first one here. And then the other load, which is this wire, we're gonna put it on the other screw. Now I have my two loads on each screw. Now I'm gonna put it upright. Remember, there's no power. I'm gonna put it upright. There you go. And I wanna make sure that my first switch is the light and my other switch is the fan. Okay, so I just killed the power back off because I'm gonna tape it and I'm gonna push it inside. So you're gonna tape it to protect the wires from touching the metal box and thus having a short. So we don't want that, so that's why we protect the wires with electrical. Okay, so we have the electrical tape around. Now we're gonna push it in. And since there's no power, you know, you are okay. Okay, so I'm putting the two screws back. Make sure it's tight. There you go. Okay, now we're putting our faceplate back. This one has only one screw. The other one was different. The other one was at the Corda plate, and this is a regular outlet plate, even though there are two switches because it has the shape of an outlet. And you have to make sure that it's in the upright position. It has to read on at the bottom and off at the top. If it reads full and no, that means it's upside down. Okay, so we turn the power back on and we're gonna test. This is the light, that's good. And that's the fan if you can hear it. So fan and lights. And you put the lights on the first, when you walk in, you want the first switch should be the light so you could see what's going on in the room. And I just want to touch bases on every junction box is different. You don't know where the power comes from. You don't know what the person did before you. You don't know anything. So you have to test each wire. You have to pay attention. Like in this case, there were two wires coming from the same source, the same breaker, so it was redundant. So what I did, I just capped one wire and used the other one. But if it's a different source, then you would have to cut the tab to make it separate switches, separate power sources. So this is it for today. I hope you like this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much. Have a great day.